Underappreciation in the games industry is something that unfortunately is very common. And that is from actually working somewhere in a company and being the humble designer, coder, animator, and not feeling appreciated. And it's also from the gaming community. I'm going to talk to you guys today on how to deal with underappreciation and how to move forward from this being stuck in this place that you feel like you work so hard and yet people are not appreciating you enough for the hard work that you're putting in. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, welcome to the channel. If you don't know, and you know here, my name is Harvey Newman. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for being here. I share tips and tricks on games development, animation, and now we're actually starting our own game studio. So studio funding, the life to actually kind of like get to start a new studio and much, much more. So all kinds of stuff here in this channel. So thanks for tuning in. If you are new and you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to watch the video. And if you enjoy the content, then consider subscribing, liking, and commenting below, because I would truly appreciate it. So the reason why we're here talking about this is because a student of mine, or an ex-student of mine from iAnimate, asked me this question about underappreciation since he just got his first job and he feels very much underappreciated. It's unfortunate that people have to go through this, I have to say, and it really talks to the resilience that you have personally as you go through your career. Now, everybody has this dream nowadays of actually getting into the games industry. It doesn't matter what it is, you want to get into the games industry because it's really hot, it's amazing, everybody wants to make games because you play games. So many reasons nowadays people want to work in the games industry. So you spend a good few years working hard to get into the games industry, only to find out that once you are in, that all the work that you're doing, that all your mates and family told you was absolutely amazing, is just mediocre at best. And then you spend another few years trying to get that work to be amazing, right? And as the work becomes amazing and even other developers around you are telling you, wow, the work is really amazing, when you show it to your bosses, when you show it to the studio head, they go, I've seen it before, so put it in game, let's move on, and then ship the game, move on to the next one. So this feeling of like not taking a moment, not taking a beat to appreciate the work of somebody is what gets to people quite a lot. And there's an aspect there of like developing a tough skin in the games industry, because you really need to do it. There's a lot of people that leave after just a few years because they feel very much that this feeling of underappreciation and not feeling validated never comes, so therefore I'm just gonna go and do something else. But the people that stay like myself, you develop tough skin and then eventually you actually start creating for the sake of creating without actually wanting anybody's appreciation. So here's the first tip in a way. Create for yourself, don't create for the game. It's weird and backwards, but you really need to think about this as in like, I'm making this for myself even though somebody else asked this of me, like my lead or my director asked this of me. How would I actually do it in a way that makes me happy, right? And if anybody else actually tells you that your work is amazing, it's just candy on top, because you're already satisfied and you already did the work to the best of your capabilities, and you make yourself happy in the way that I feel like I'm moving forward as an artist and I'm doing this for myself, and in order to move forward, that means that you feel satisfied with yourself, you feel content within yourself, and you don't need anybody's appreciation or validation outside of that bubble of creativity. And that, for me at least as a creative, is the very first step to actually ignore and be happy with not being validated or not being appreciated in the workplace. There is going to be different companies that you're going to work for, and different companies have different personalities almost, and some companies are really big into giving everybody props, right? So the game director will just gonna like create a meeting for the team, everybody gathers, and then he goes like, team, you guys did an amazing job, oh my god, I cannot believe it, art, you did this, animation, you did that, coding, you did this thing, I really appreciate it, let's keep going, we're doing an amazing job, all that stuff. When you leave that meeting, everybody's pumped. When you go to your desk and start working again, that feeling of being pumped lasts for at least a few weeks, which is amazing, right? Because, you know, you feel like you're doing it for the betterment of the game and also for that person that actually told you that you're doing a good job to tell you that you're doing an even better job in the future. Great. However, there's going to be other studios that will not tell you anything for the 3, 4, 5 years that you're going to develop this game. And this is when that problem kind of becomes more persistent, because when you have a team of 100 to 100 people working in one thing, and there's nobody, no leader, no person that is actually kind of like gathering the team every so often and telling the team, you guys doing a great job, we're going the right way, and all these other things, there is a lack of direction. And it feels like we're not really going all towards the same place. And you kind of start questioning if this is the way to go, right? And the more that feeling goes, the more that, like, no comment goes on, the more you start questioning, how are we doing? Where are we going? Are we going the right way? Is the work that I'm doing even useful for this game? You start questioning a lot. And in those kind of studios, is normally the kind of studios that people start like changing a lot of things. So they ask you of something, you do it at a high level, and after you do it, they tell you, this is not what we wanted something else. Can you do it this other way? And then you do it this other way, and you do it at a high standard, and they go, this is not what we wanted. We wanted this other way. Can we do it this other way? And you go through this iteration process for 3 or 4 times. And after you actually hit that 4th, 5th time, you start feeling very much defeated, because you have a sense that there is no sense of direction, right? And no matter what you do, you're never gonna make anybody happy, and you're just gonna continue spinning your wheels because somebody else is telling you to do things that lacks direction, right? And this is very, unfortunately, very normal in the games industry, because a game is getting developed and people don't know a lot of facets of the game, and they only know it once things kind of start coming together. But there is such a thing as like having no direction at all and just banking on artists and coders to come together and put something together that then the director goes, yes, no. This is not very useful or healthy for anybody, because if there is no sense of direction, then people don't know what to do. And it's incredibly infuriating, at least to me, when this happens all the time. And on top of that, you get no sense of appreciation for the work and the hard work that you've been doing over and over and over again. Now, when this happens to you and these negative situations happen to you, the positive way of looking at it, and this is how I do it, is that if you are doing it for yourself, and every single time that it was a negative, that it was a change, that was like a lack of direction, every single time you did it, you became a slightly better animator, you became a slightly better artist, you became a slightly better coder, right? Because you're starting to look for solutions that were not there before, and you need to rethink an idea over and over and over and over again. And what this gives you is basically this muscle, this creative muscle, that no matter what happens and no matter how many times you have to change things, you will continue to persevere to actually kind of make the best game possible. And this, even though I thought it was a negative very early on in my career because it's incredibly annoying, ended up being a very positive thing nowadays, that I have my own studio, Proxima Studio, and we are trying to make this game. Because what happens is that no idea is final until the game comes out, right? So you have to actually shift, change, adapt to an idea or to a game or to a mechanic as you start building things with other people. And the more people you have in your team, the more things will change organically, until eventually, if you have a good team and you have a good direction, until eventually the outcome is better than the original idea, and therefore you have a better game. So surprisingly enough, and this is what I wanted you to take from this, is that this sense of not being appreciated, this sense of like having constant iteration, this sense of not having direction, and these negative experiences that you go through end up making you not only more resilient, but also make you kind of like see a problem from many more different angles, right? The other benefit of it all, and this is what I'm finding as a game director now, as a founder, is that because I've been through those situations for so long, I really don't want to put my team through that, right? So before I actually go to my team and tell them we need to do this way, I need to think very carefully for at least a week or two of what we are doing and how we are doing it and what's the outcome of doing it, right? And if I have doubts, I am 100% clear with my team about this is what I think we should be going, but this might change in the future. So just brace yourselves, because I'm not sure about this bit, right? This other bit I'm sure about, but this bit here, I'm not sure. Let's try it out, let's experiment, and then if we actually make it, then it's going to be much better, right? The final thing that I do as well now that I had these experiences is leverage the ideas of my team, because there is no point on you hiring amazing people and not making them feel appreciated for the work that they've done previously and the work that they're doing right now. So when I have an idea, no matter how good the idea is, I always ask, what do you guys think first? And second, do you guys have any ideas to add to this that makes the idea better, right? And 9 times out of 10, I find that I just put the idea out there and then my team goes, what if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? Wouldn't it be cool if we do this? And because of this compounding creative effect, the final idea becomes so much better than the original idea that I had. And this is absolutely amazing. And you would not believe how many studios I have been that they hire people because of their accolades and because of the things that they have achieved. And yet they never ask them once about what do they think about a certain thing, right? And you can take it or leave it. But the fact that you ask somebody for their opinion about something makes them feel validated and gives you that sense of like you matter, right? You were hired here for a reason and you matter. So you can flex that experience muscle that you have and actually tell them what you think. So that is all I had for today. Consider subscribing if you haven't so far, and if you enjoy this content, comment down below. Let me know what you think if you had some of this experience. Same as my iAnimate student previously, because I feel for anybody that is going through this, because it's like pulling teeth. It's incredibly hard while you're going through it. But once you actually come out of it with a lot of experience and working in a place that you enjoy, that you feel validated, all of a sudden you look back and you be like, you know what, these experiences that were incredibly negative and I felt like punching somebody, this experience has actually made me a better professional, a better developer, a better animator, a better artist, a better coder, made me a better person. Keep that sense of perspective as you go through these things, because it will help you a ton to at least have a thought of, in the future when I become experienced, I am going to look back at this and feel good about these negative situations. Might be difficult to find it and to find that feeling in the moment, because if you're in a really bad state right now, in a really bad situation with a horrible boss, you probably don't ever feel like it's going to be that way. But the truth of the matter is that these things are normally short-lived. It doesn't matter if it takes a year, 2 or 3. But as soon as you come out of them, you feel like a breath of fresh air, and then you actually look back and you're like, you know what, I'm happy I went through it, right? So yeah, that's all I had. Thanks so much to my Patreons as usual for all the support they give me every single month. And if you haven't checked that out so far, go to my Patreon, support your boy here if you can, because it's highly appreciated. We only have a handful of Patreon supporters right now, and there's lots of perks and benefits to being a Patreon supporter. That's all I had for you guys today. Have a good rest of the week. And as always, until next time, stay well, stay safe. Peace.